Accidents do happen, and they can be anything. You could slice your hand while eating an avocado during lunch, or you could hit your head over a rock while whitewater kayaking. And for all those reasons, you might want to consider taking a first aid kit on your trips, especially if you go out alone more often than not. But what should you bring? To answer that question, I made a list of the items I think are essential to bring on your longer trips, or on any trip for that matter. And don't forget, your boat or pedal might also need some first aid at some point. And though you should probably take a separate repair kit with some nuts and bolts, I also included some tools on this list that can be very helpful in emergency situations, but can also help you fix your gear. Let's look at what's in the kit, and then I'll go through it one by one. First of all, you want a very good quality waterproof bag to put everything in. And you also might want to consider putting everything in a Ziploc bag just to make it easier to take out and find what you need. Also, clearly mark your bag as a first aid kit so others can find it easily as well. Waterproof plasters in multiple sizes. Most first aid kits don't come with waterproof plasters, so make sure you get the waterproof kind for in your kit. Rolled bandages in multiple sizes and a special pair of bandage scissors. Though you can take a regular pair of small scissors, the bandage scissors are especially designed not to cut your skin. You will always need gauze dressing in multiple sizes to stop bleeding and dress wounds. Unless you are a surgeon, suturing yourself on site is not the best idea. So I always take some skin closures to close deep gashes and deep cuts. Latex gloves are always advised when tending to someone else's wounds, but they can also be used to waterproof some bandages, plasters, or wounds on hands. It might seem a little overboard, but we're still on the water and drownings do happen. And in that case, a Kiss of Life mask can be used during resuscitation, just to prevent blood, vomit, saliva, and other infectious things to cross from victim to first aider. And even if you don't carry a first aid kit, a space blanket should probably always be in your boat. Use it to wrap up a paddler who fell into the water, or shield yourself from harsh winds and cold. To contrast that, sunscreen of a minimum of 30 SPF should also always be in your standard gear. Sunburn isn't only really painful, but it's also very dangerous. So protect your skin. A dislocated shoulder is one of the more common kayaking accidents, so a triangular bandage or an arm sling might be handy to keep an arm steady. And though not ideal, the sling can also be used to put pressure on a wound. It might be better than a dirty wet t-shirt. And don't forget the safety pins to close the arm sling, which can also be used to keep your clothes together. Now, a towel might be something you already carry with you, but you might want to consider putting a clean one in your first aid kit as well. Dealing with wet wounds is less than ideal, so you want something clean to dry a wound with. Some tweezers just to pull splinters out or some other tiny things. Some iodine or betadine to disinfect small cuts with. Certainly some of the canals and rivers and streams we paddle might not be the cleanest. I also like to take some sterile wipes just to clean some tools or small wounds with. I also bring some aspirin or ibuprofen for painkilling. Needle and thread to sew your clothes, and please just use it on your clothes. Don't go suturing yourself out in the field. Suturing doesn't necessarily stop bleeding. For that, use gauze, cloth, and pressure. Sticking needles in your skin will leave you with a nasty scar and a chance of infection. Some zip ties and duct tape. A few meters of duct tape will come in handy for so many things. For closing wounds, taping back together your pedal, or fixing a leak in your boat. I have a few meters here wrapped around a pencil just to keep the size down, but you can also take the last few meters of a roll and flatten it. A multi-tool with a set of pliers is nice to have, but I use this handy small survival cart. Now, bring an extra knife if you don't carry a rescue knife or your multi-tool doesn't have a knife built in. Waterproof matches might also be a nice addition for when you want to make a fire. You can buy waterproof matches, but you can also make them yourself by dipping regular matches in candle wax. Always bring paper and pencil in your first aid kit, be it to draw a map, write down a phone number, the time of someone passing out, or some other information that you might otherwise forget. It's always handy to write down some important phone numbers, like an emergency number, the Coast Guard, a weather line, especially when you're traveling abroad or to an unknown destination. You won't always have full reception or a full battery, so having some numbers written down might save you a lot of trouble. Keep some change in your first aid kit in a separate bag. You never know when some small change will come in handy for a phone call, a toll bridge, or a beer at the end of a long trip. And I know it sounds like a lot, but don't worry, it packs down quite small. You can also definitely bring too much, making it hard to find what you need. You really don't need 150 plasters and 20 rolls of bandages. So don't go overboard with what you take, but instead look at the group size you're traveling with and plan accordingly. It's also good practice to check your first aid kit before every trip and to replace the items you used. You can always use a checklist to see if you are missing any items. And if you want a checklist from my list, check in the description below. And now that you have your first aid kit complete, it's important that you learn to use it properly. Now, that's a little out of scope for this video, but there are a lot of great courses online. And taking a first aid course will be useful for so much more than just kayaking. Doing a quick online search will give you a broad selection of first aid courses, some which will cost money, which might be money well spent, and others are totally free. Try to find a certified source though, so you know the information you're getting is correct. The Red Cross, for instance, offers some great courses all over the world. And that's my kit, peddlers. Do you have any items you take on your trips and would advise me to bring on my future trips? Leave them in the comments below for everyone to see and learn. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the water soon. Hey peddlers, don't forget to like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I would love it if you watch another video. Leave a comment on this one, and don't forget to pedal on.